Hi everyone. The topic that we are going to discuss today is the sales forecasting technique and the moving average technique in the sales forecasting techniques. We are going to learn a calculation today. For the moving average technique, we usually divide a year into the 4 quarters that are quarter number 1, quarter number 2, quarter number 3, and quarter number 4. The quarter number 1 is from January to March. It's not necessary that we do that, but for the discussion and solving a question. Quarter number 2 from April to June. Quarter number 3 from July to September. And quarter number 4 from October to December. So usually we divide a year into the 4 quarters. This is the way we solve it. Okay. Moving forward, we will be given 2 specific columns and rest of the columns can be asked from us to be calculated, or there might be some missing values from those columns that we need to calculate. The first column is about years 2019, year quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, then 2020, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and similarly quarter 2012. The second column that will be given to us will be revenue. The revenue is in front of you, 120, 130, 150, and so on. The last 2 values of 2021 are not given. You can see that. Okay. The first column that might be asked from us to be calculated is the 4-quarter total. The formula for the 4-quarter total is very simple. 4QT is equal to quarter 1 plus quarter 2 plus quarter 3 plus quarter 4. What do I mean is 120 plus 130 plus 150 plus 200. So these are the quarter 4 values that are given to us. 120 plus 130 plus 150 plus 200. The answer is 600. The 600 will be written in front of quarter number 4 here. That shows that that 600 is the sum of the 4 values that are 4, 3, 2, 1. So in this way we calculate it. Now, in the paper, if here a term A is written and we are asked to calculate the term A, it means he's asking to calculate 4-quarter total. The 4 values that will be included in the 4-quarter total will be 4, 3, 2, 1. I mean 130 plus 150 plus 200 plus 140. The answer is 620. Similarly, we can calculate the next 4-quarter total. For example, if the value B is required from us, we will total 150 plus 140 plus 200 plus 150. The answer is 640. Similarly, C, D, E, F can be asked from us to be calculated. Okay. So I was saying that if 4-quarter total can be asked to be calculated from us, we can calculate it in this way. If the value of F, for example, we were required to calculate, we can do it in such a way that we can take the 4, 3, 2, 1, because I told you that the F value should always be written in front of the 4th quarter. That was the last value that was added in that calculation. Okay. The next calculation that can be asked from us is 8QT. 8QT stands for 8-quarter total. Now the formula for 8-quarter total is 4 QT, I mean 4 quarter total plus 4 quarter total. It means 600 plus 620, that is 1220. That 1220 will be written in front of the 620 to show that this 1220 is the sum of these two values. I mean, the 620 is the second and the 600 is the first value. It means that if an examination you are asked to calculate the value of G, H, I, J, K, you can easily calculate that, because from the value of G, it will mean that 640 plus 620. The answer is 1260. That 1260 shows that there are two values that have been added into this. One is 640 and second is 620, second and first. So in this way, we can calculate the rest of the values. The next value that can be asked from us to be calculated is 4QMA. That basically stands for 4 quarter moving average. The formula for 4 quarter moving average is simple. That is 4 quarter total divided by 4. It means that 600, that is the 4 quarter total, divided by 4. The answer is 150. Now the $1 million question is where that 150 will be written. That 150 will be written in between second and third quarter. Here we call it writing in the air too. It does mean that if there would have been 5 values, would have written in front of third quarter by taking median. No, because there are 4 values, we're writing in between second and third quarter. Let me show that how in the papers this is written. If you can see the screen, you can identify that where the value of the 145, 147.5 and 152.5, that is 4 QMA, 4 quarter moving average, how it is written. It's always written in between the second and the third quarter. You can see that. Okay, moving forward, now if the question is asked from us, question is asked to calculate the value for the rest of the figures, we can also calculate that. N, O, P, for example, and we're required to calculate the value. Now the problem is that the 4 quarter total will not be usually given to us in the examination. I'm talking about this column. So what we have to do, we will have to identify that where the L or M or N, whatever we are required to calculate, where those are written, and we will have to see that what is the value, second value for L, because I told you that it will always be written between second and third quarter. So we'll have to identify what is the value number second for the L and what is the value number third for the L, because it will always be written in between. And then we'll come to know that this is the fourth value and this is the first value. We can add those up and we can divide them by the 4. We'll get the answer. I mean, we'll add 130 plus 150 plus 200 and plus 140. The answer will be 620. That is already available to us, but we will divide that 620. I told you in paper it won't be given, most probably 620 divided by 4, and we'll get 155. This is the value for the L. Similarly, if we are going to calculate the value for M, we'll have to identify that what is the value number second for the M and what is the value number third for the M. if we look at the table, this is the value number second, this is the value number 3, this is the value number 1, and this is the value number 4. We just add them. 150 plus 200 plus 140 plus 150. The answer is 640. That is in our column, that is already available to us, but in the paper it won't be. And we divide it by the 4 and we get 160. That is the value for the M. This is the way we calculate these values. Value number Q, I have calculated, I have identified that what is the value, what is the second figure for this, and what is the third one for this, and in the way I have calculated that. Now, the next column that can be, that is required from us usually to be calculated, that is 8QMA. There are many names for 8QMA. We can call it a trend. We can call it simply moving average. And sometimes we call it a centrally moving average. So there are many names for that. The formula for 8-quarter total is very simple. Eight quarter MA is equal to 8-quarter total divided by 8. It means it's like the first 8-quarter total value is 1220. That is already available to us. 1220 divided by 8. The answer is 152.5. But the problem is 8-quarter total column will again not be given in the paper most probably. So we will have to use another formula, that is 8-quarter moving average is equal to 4-quarter moving average plus 4-quarter moving average divided by 2. I mean, this is the first 4-quarter moving average. If you remember, this is second 4-quarter moving average. 150 plus 155 divided by 2. The answer will again be 152.5. So the question is where that 152.5 will be written. That 152.5 will be written in between the 4-quarter moving average. I mean here. And if you look at your paper while solving if you look at the table while solving this moving average technique, you will always be identifying that this first moving average of 8-quarter will always be written in front of 3rd quarter. Let me show you a few questions. Look at this question. The trend is always written in front of the 3rd quarter. Here look, the 146 is written in front of 3rd quarter, and the number 1 is here, but we can calculate in this way. 1, the quarter, the second and the third, and you identify that the moving average is always written in front of 3rd quarter. So it's number 3 for us, because we calculate in this way: 1, 2, and 3. And for this is always written here. So in this way we look at it. Moving back to the question. So I told you that in this way we calculate the 8-quarter moving average, 4QMA plus 4QMA divided by 2. So if a number of values are given to us, and we need to calculate things for that. We can calculate the value of R. We just need to identify that what are the 2 moving averages for R, that are simple, 155 and 160. We add them both, 155 and 160, and we divide them by 2. That is 157.5. So this is the way we calculate the value of 8-quarter moving average. If the value we are required to calculate the value of V, it will be very simple for us. We will see which 2 moving averages for the 4-quarter will be used for that. We know that this is the first value that will be used, and this is the second value that will be used. We just add them up and divide by 2, and we'll get the 8-quarter moving average. The next column that might be required from us is the seasonal variation. The formula for the seasonal variation is simple. Seasonal variation is calculated by the formula. Seasonal variation is calculated by the formula that is revenue, I mean sale revenue or actual sales minus trend. So look at the table. This is the column for the revenue. This is the column for the trend, I mean 8-quarter moving average. And I told you that the first value we'll calculate will be written in front of the third quarter. We just need to minus them both. Here it goes. This way. It means 150 minus 152.5. The answer would be minus 2.5. Next value would be 200 minus 175, 170, 157.5. 200 minus 157.5. The answer would be 42.5. In this way, we can calculate the rest of the values. So our whole ABC is completed. This is the way we calculate the seasonal variation. As I told you that revenue minus trend, the last value V that I've calculated is 210 minus 175. So we get the answer. The next column that can be required from us in the examination is the average seasonal variation. Average seasonal variation. The formula for average seasonal variation is simple. I write it here. Average seasonal variation is equal to seasonal variation plus seasonal variation divided by number, I mean 2. If the values are 3, seasonal variation plus seasonal variation plus seasonal variation divided by 3. If the values are 4, it will be divided by 4. So simple. And this is calculated by quarter. For example, examiner may ask us calculate the average seasonal variation for quarter number 3. So we'll take all the values for the quarter number 3. This is Q3 for us. We'll take another Q3. This is this is 4. This is first, this is second, and this is 3. So we'll take those values. That is minus 2.5 plus 8.75 divided by 2. The answer would be 3.125. 3.125, and that is that will be the average seasonal variation for every quarter. 3.125. For every quarter. Similarly, if we are required to calculate the average seasonal variation for quarter 4, this is quarter 4, this is also quarter 4. We just add those values. 42.5 plus 35. 42.5 plus 35 divided by 2. The answer would be 38.75. So this 38.75 is the value for every quarter number 4 for us. So these are the required columns that can be asked from us in the examination hall. And usually the values are missing and we usually calculate them. Let's move to a question and try to understand it further. Here is a question in front of us. We look at that. The examiner has asked us to calculate the value for U, V, W, X, Y, and Z, and we can calculate them simply. Let's try to find it out. That how can we calculate those? We'll have to initially see how this 145 is calculated. That is very simple. As I told you earlier, that we will identify the quarter number 2 and 3 for that, for moving the 4-quarter moving average. So this is the, as I told you, it will always be written between second and third quarter. So this is the quarter number 2 for this. This is the quarter number 3 for this. It means this will be 1 and this will be 4. Just add them and divide by 4. 120 plus 140 plus 190 plus 130 divided by 4. The answer is 145. So in this way, we identified. Similarly, if we want to calculate the value for u, we need to identify the second and third quarter for u. This is the second for u because it's always written between second and third. This is the 3 for u. This is the 1 and this is 4. Just add them all 4. 160 plus 130 plus 170 plus 240 divided by 4. The answer is 175. Similarly, if we want to calculate the value for V, what we can do, we can identify the quarters for V. Let's do that. For V, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 1, and this is 4. So 130 plus 170 plus 240 plus 170 divided by 4. The answer is 177.5. So this is the way we calculate it. Now let's move to the next thing, W and X. W and X are moving average that I told you are the 8-quarter moving average, or we call it simply trend, or we call it centrally moving average. What is the formula for that? I told you 4QMA plus 4QMA divided by 2. So the situation is simple for us. I need to identify the W is written between the values that we need to calculate. That is 177.5 plus 172.5 divided by 2. This is the first value. This is the second value. The answer is 175. And what is the value for X? This is the first value for X. This is the second value for X. It means 172.5 plus 167.5 divided by 2. The answer is 170. And what I told you for the seasonal variation, the formula for the seasonal variation is actual sales, I mean the sale revenue minus trend. So look at the values. For the quarter number 3, it is written in front of that. It means 140 minus 175. The answer is minus 35. Then 160 minus 170. The answer is minus 10. So in this way, we calculate the seasonal variation. Moving to another practice. Where the values of X and Y are required to be calculated. Then for the average seasonal variation, the value for X would be very simple. 33 minus 32.5, because sales minus trend. 33 minus 32.5, answer is 0.5. Then we have 29 minus 32.625. The answer is minus 3.625. Now, the examiner has asked to calculate the value for Z, the average seasonal variation. As I told you, the formula for average seasonal variation is seasonal variation plus seasonal variation divided by number. We'll have to see how many values we are doing. For quarter 3, we have number of values. This is the first value for quarter 3. You can see that. This is the second value for the quarter 3. This is the third value for the quarter 3. We simply add them. And because these are 3 values, we'll divide them by 3. That is 7.5 plus 7.875 plus 8.25 divided by 3. The answer is 7.875. So value for the quarter 3 is 7.875. Okay, with this, we calculate all the required columns usually that are asked from the but there is Another thing that can be asked from us in the examination hall, that is given in front of you. Just read the case study 40 question number 3. The value of x, y, z, we have already calculated that. Then there is another thing. Refer to the data in appendix 2, Joe's extra plotted trend line on the graph in appendix 3 forecast actual sales level in 2014 quarter 4, and that is 2013 quarter 4 indeed, and 2014 quarter 1. No, there will be a graph that will be given to us. Look at this in front of you. We need to identify the extrapolation line, and we need to calculate values from that too. For the 2013 initially quarter 4, this thing 2013 quarter 4, we'll look at the extrapolation line and try to identify the value. That will be 36. Yes, because there are 10 lines difference between those. That is 36, and that is 2013 quarter 4. But that 36 only is not enough. That 36 is the estimated line calculation. We need to adjust the values for the average seasonal variation in that too. The average seasonal variations we might have calculated, or they might be already given to us. The quarter 4 value, because we are doing it 2013 quarter 4. The value that we have taken from the graph is 36. The value, average seasonal variation value, is already given to us. That is minus 3.875. The answer is 32.125. That is the value for the quarter number 4 of the 2013. That's why I call it adjustment of the value, because we add it if the average seasonal variation is in positive, and we minus it if average seasonal variation is in minus. So 36 minus 3.875. 36 was the value from the graph, and minus 3.875 was the average seasonal variation of the quarter number 4. Now moving to the next requirement, 2014 quarter 4. 2014 quarter 4 value, we should take it from the graph. That is almost 36.5. That is graph value 36.5. We can minus adjust the value of quarter 1 average seasonal variation. That is minus 3.75. The answer would be 32.75. So these are the two required calculations from us from the graph, and we can do it in this way. That's all whatever we have about the moving average techniques. I welcome the questions in the comment box. Thank you very much.